Hello, it's me LETTERBOXD, and today we are going back to Best of Watchlist, and it is episode number 5. And today we have some pretty good movies here and a few, average ones. So this week has been pretty good. We start with the Inception. It is time for favorite movie to get a rewatch from me. I remember how I felt when I watched this for the first time. It was mind-blowing. The story is about a thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream-sharing technology, and he is given the universe task of planting an idea into the mind of CEO to unveil his secret by going deeper and deeper to his dreams and unconsciousness. This cast is filled with the stars. For example, we got some awesome performances by Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ellen Page, Cillian Murphy, and Ken Watanabe. Everyone was remarkable at their roles. This is Christopher Nolan's finest work in my opinion. It is an original and very ambitious sci-fi journey that really managed to live up for its expectations. Inception's breathtaking visuals are helping the story to mold up to these never-ending injections of thrills, adding the mind-bending sci-fi and action sequences which really made this movie so surreal and remarkable. The score is one of the best scores I have ever witnessed in a movie before. Hans Zimmer really made some exceptional work for that part, and it really suited the movie very well, adding some thrill and real feels to the full experience. This is a masterpiece and it still holds up pretty well. The film community is still appreciating this movie very much and ranks it with the most successful modern movies without a doubt or hesitation. I still rank this amongst the best of the best, and it still has the first place of my favorites. You should check it out and be amazed. And I give this movie 5 out of 5. Next up we have Wind River. This movie kept very low key for some unknown reason that I don't really understand, and that's why it slipped through my radar when I tried to watch every potential hit there was last year. I had heard massive praises towards this particular movie, so I was very excited for this. The story is about a veteran tracker who tries to investigate the murder of a young Native American woman and uses the case as a means of seeking redemption for an earlier act of irresponsibility which ended in tragedy. We have our Marvel duo Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen in the leading roles, who made really terrific performances, both of them. The movie is pretty slow paced, but for a reason. The movie is supposed to be dramatic and emotionally loaded. The cinematics and camera work is very compelling to the eyes. The story delivered me some real feels at some scenes. The movie had very character-driven style overall, while at the same time it tried to keep the focus on the story, which they succeeded to do pretty well. The last 20 minutes were really intense and we got some really ironical and satisfying ending. The whole movie is very impressive when we realize that this movie has very low budget and the whole project is very impressive quality-wise nonetheless. It is very sad story to watch, but it is very well told though. Also, little theory, I think that maybe Wind River and Braven movies are existing in the same universe. At least I could see that being a thing, but whatever. Definitely check this out. If you like intensive dramas, you'll probably like this too. And I gave this movie 4 stars out of 5. And the next up we have Lavender. I wanted to see some psychological thriller and this was looking very potential, so I grabbed the bait on Netflix and gave it a go. The story is about a photographer who, after losing her memory, begins to see unexplained things after her psychiatrist suggests she visit her childhood home. Our protagonist Janie wanted to get her memories back after an accident where she was participating in. she tried to refresh her memory by going back to the house where she grew up. Well, I mean, she got much more information than she would have hoped to get. Every little detail were connected very well to each other, and by the end of the movie everything made sense. At first I was very confused, but we got an explanation in the end, which was sad and kind of fucked up. The movie was very weird, from the editing choices to music. It was very intense, and the feeling I got is unexplainable. It tried to be edgy, and well, at some places it really was exactly that. The story is very sad overall, but it kept us on the edge of our seat because of its roller coaster style of storytelling. And I gave this movie 3 stars out of 5. And next up we have John Wick. I heard that this movie is very good and I should definitely watch it. Keanu Reeves in a hybrid movie where James Bond meets Taken? Count me in. The story is about an ex-hitman who comes out of retirement to track down the gangsters that took everything from him. The story of a revenge is something special on the screen. It basically is the best comic book movie, but which hasn't had any comic books in its sleeve to adapt. Oh man, I fucking loved it. The concept was very simple and the storytelling was surprisingly compelling. The choreography was on top notch, also as the action itself. I loved how this movie used the music to make these little montages all over the movie. That set the tone perfectly with adding some great cinematography and gritty colors in it. Performance of Keanu Reeves is exceptional. Nothing to complain about here. The whole movie seemed to know exactly what it wanted to be, and that made the movie so great overall. It doesn't know when to chill, and that's why it doesn't chill at all and just puts the next gear on and goes harder and harder on us. If you want to watch something which just delivers pure action-packed madness, this is the movie for that. It was very positive surprise. I gave this movie 4.5 stars out of 5. And next up we have John Wick Chapter 2. More of Keanu Reeves beating some ass with exceptional cinematography and banger music. Hell yeah! So basically, after returning to the criminal underworld to repay the debt, John Wick discovers that a large bounty has been put on his life and that he can't retire from it just yet. He has to take the job as a hitman again, and after that try to survive on his own. I enjoyed the action sequences and the familiar color palette very much, but the surroundings in Rome wasn't that suitable for this kind of franchise though. I mean, don't get me wrong, places looked awesome and everything, but didn't feel that tension which we had in the first movie. I love how unique this franchise is. The style is very into your face, but visually and choreographically it is one hell of a piece to have. That makes the franchise so compelling overall. We are still wondering how he killed 3 men in a bar with a fucking pencil. We actually got alternative version of that incident here with 2 men, but oh my, it was something pretty great. Now I want to see what he did to those 3 men earlier. Can we get that for the next chapter as a flashback or something? That would be awesome. Currently waiting for the John Wick Chapter 3 to release in 2019. It's gonna be awesome. And I gave this movie 4 stars out of 5. And next up we have The Outsider. So this was very potential from the concept itself, and I wanted to see how this movie will do under my watch. This Netflix original movie also stars Jared Leto, so I was very interested to see his job in this one. The Outsiders is set in post-World War II Japan and centered on American former GI joins the Yakuza after saving one of their own people. He's tasked to help with the arrangement mission where he needs to get in touch with Yakuza's contact person, an American who hasn't been very cooperative anymore. After that, he decides to stay put with the gang that helped with the arrangement mission. The camera work was very solid and very captivating overall. Although the story was hypnotizing and interesting, in my opinion it didn't quite know where to go and how to handle itself as the story proceeded further. I actually liked it. It was a little different from what I'm used to watch, but I was very entertained by it. As I expected, Jared Leto was actually pretty good in this role and they developed his character pretty well. Although I would have hoped some kind of backstory for him, like the military stuff or whatever, to know where is he from and such stuff. That's the only thing that lacked from his character. I know why this movie receives the hate, but I tried to watch it without being too leaned on the fact that it was somewhat dull story-wise. In my opinion, it is a very solid movie which tells an average story, but it does it with a captivating style. That's why it was somewhat special for me. And I gave this movie 2.5 stars out of 5. And next up we have Mama. After a successful remake of it last year, I wanted to see Andy Muschietti's earlier work, Mama. The producer is an Oscar-winning director, Guillermo del Toro. So on the paper we really had some mad talent to begin with. 5 years after the tragic death of their parents, dear sisters Victoria and Lily, who were left stranded in the unwelcoming woods, reunite unexpectedly with their father's twin brother Lucas and his girlfriend Annabelle. Without a doubt, how the two frail and unprotected girls managed to survive for such a long time on their own is nothing less than a miracle. However, there must have been someone or even something that has been watching over them. Little by little, now that the sisters are well settled into their new home, Annabelle begins to suspect that whatever was protecting Lucas' nieces in the gloomy and dangerous forest is still watching over them. The concept is fresh and it really tries to be bold and something new. The movie keeps the intensity high and very well too, with its suspenseful waiting and muteness. Literally, I couldn't watch it without getting chills down my spine constantly throughout the movie. It isn't playing games at all. It's just going in and really tries to traumatize us with its sudden jump scares and unpredictable and disturbing storyline. There were too many unnecessary jump scares for sure. It was ridiculous because nothing even happened in those particular times, but I still lost my shit because of them. Mama is truly scary and has a very original concept, which leaves us sleepless at nights and amazed for how great it really is. From the visual aspects to the performances, this movie really makes an exceptional job on creating a terrifying entity that Mama is. This movie puts us through some very scary things and sad things. I liked it very much though, and I gave this movie 3.5 stars out of 5. Next up we have Annihilation. It's not destroying, it's making something new. I have been waiting for this movie for a very long time now. One of the most anticipated movies for me this year. The story is about a biologist whose husband disappeared mysteriously. After a long time he comes back home, but he's not the same anymore. She puts her name forward for an expedition into that environmental disaster zone where her husband disappeared for a while. She's going in with a group of scientists, but unfortunately she does not find what she is expecting. She is finding something more fascinating and more disturbing. Annihilation is the latest addition to the Netflix originals, at least here in Europe, which isn't maybe technically perfect, but it is visually mastermind, which is blended with a bold and slow-paced original story, which is breathtaking overall. The colors in this movie are literally madness. Whenever you think that you have seen everything, it does surpass that and exceeds the level in the next sequences all over again. In the beginning I was very skeptic about the style that they used in this movie, telling the story as flashbacks, but in no time it does convince me that the choice was right. The mystery factor is crazy. You're constantly thinking about the reasons behind the things which happens throughout the movie, but you never guess or predict them right. Natalie Portman is again exceptional, as I expected. She acts so well that her character feels so realistic and reliable. The music score was unnerving and brought more intensity to the scenes. I loved how the story bends everything it possibly could and left us guessing and our minds blown, like the zone that these scientists were entering, full of mysteries and abnormality. It also mashes all the genres into this one mind-bending masterpiece, and I gave this movie 4.5 stars out of 5. And that's it for this week's episode of Best of Watchlist. And what did you like about it? I think it was a great week. We had a great week behind, and I hope next week will be great too. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Comments down below what you thought about this episode, and I'll see you in the next video as always. Cheers.